So the UK this week has been experiencing a really bad heat wave, and it's been upwards of 40 degrees this week. So what better way to enjoy the heat wave than to lock myself up in my man cave with a 5090 PC, a VR headset with no air conditioning, not even a fan because at the moment William's got all that, and try out the new Somnium VR1 beta that has local dimming. But there's a good reason for that, and I am excited to do this because feasibly this could be something very special. Because, as you know, if you don't know, the Somnium VR1 is the brightest VR headset on the market. A bright summer's day feels like a bright summer's day, or at least the closest compared to the latest crop of VR headsets. And in terms of how it compares to OLED, well, any OLED headset, even the Dream Air, feels very dim in comparison. So if this does local dimming right, and it has really good blacks, hopefully pure blacks, as well as not sacrificing the brightness, because of course there is dimming zones in this rather than, you know, an OLED headset which basically turns off each individual pixel. This can't do that, but Arthur from Somnium Space has reassured me this is the best local dimming that I'll ever experience, and he thinks it's even better than the micro OLED simply because you get a better sort of contrast between the brightness and the darkness. Well, I'm not convinced by that, and I'm not convinced I'm not going to see any blooming. So come with me on this journey if you're interested. I'll just do a few scenarios in MSFS, and it's not just about the sort of dark nights, but I'm interested to see how that local dimming affects bright scenes as well, because it can dim the headset. So with that being said, I'm just going to show you with my virtual desktop the software. This is the brains of the Somnium VR1, and this software, well, it's brilliant, it's epic, and this is what we're looking at today, local dimming. Wow, so glad to see this. And you can see here we've got a few different modes: dynamic, linear, natural, and medium. We've got a black level slider here as well, and you can adjust this depending on the type of game or sim you're using. Also with this update, it must be said, there's now a new 3 DOF mode, so that's 3 degrees of freedom, but you can actually use that without base station tracking, so that's quite cool. Never mind that, I'm interested in the local dimming. We're going to try that now, so I look forward to that. I'm just now going to switch over to OpenXR mode because I think it's only working in that particular mode, but with 100% resolution, native, look at this, 5941 by 4930. That's pretty hefty, and we should get pretty decent performance though with this 5090 PC. So anyway, enough waffling, let's try this. I'm super excited. Here we go. So the famous Tokyo Discovery flight, such beautiful colours, and I've just noticed my motion rig is not turned on, and that's a good example actually of how convenient it is to be able to switch to the desktop mode in the Somnium VR1 and also mixed reality. So I can just basically turn that on now, and suddenly it'll fire into life in a minute. It'll probably make me jump. But that's now going to turn on. Well, first of all, I'm not using local dimming at the moment, and God, this display is so impressive. It really, really, truly is. It may only be 35 ppd, but what Somnium Space has done with these lenses and this display is absolutely incredible. It's just so bright, like that sunset there is absolutely stunning. So that's a good test. I'm going to keep looking at that sunset, and I'm going to be able to turn local dimming on in real time. In fact, I think I can do it using the buttons on the headset. Let me just change that, because you can do that in the Somnium VR1 software, which is a lot better. That's a lot better way of doing it. So let me just do that. You won't see this, but sorry guys, but I'm now going to maybe use my mixed reality button for now for local dimming toggle. Look at that. So easy to use this software. Right, so now I'm going to put local dimming on. Now, of course, you're not going to see anything, guys. Sorry, I can't really replicate this, but I'll just explain what I'm seeing. So I'm going to put it on now. Right, so there's a slight dimming of the display, but only slight. So yeah, you do lose a bit of brightness, which is what I expected. but it's nowhere near as bad as, say, the Pimax Crystal Light, which is when the local dimming's on with that headset, the display really dims down. This isn't as bad, but you can definitely tell that sort of signature brightness of the VR1 is just hampered slightly there. But do we gain in blacks? So I'm going to switch it off again, and we're going to now go to nighttime here. So let's make it completely nighttime. This cockpit's a little bit too bright, to be honest. How do you switch that down? It's a floodlight, isn't it? Let's switch that down. That's better. Right, yeah. So at the moment, the black levels, well, they're basically what I've always seen in this headset, quite lackluster. I mean, it feels okay. It's not like really terrible, but I can see that between the houses there, and this is a very sort of, you know, busy city, of course, but you still can tell that just the blackness here where it should be black, like say this river here, it's just grey. And also if we look outside, that sky, I mean, it's not going to be pitch black anyway because of the light pollution, but it does look pretty grey to me. Let's now try putting a local dimming on. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Oh wow. Oh yeah, no, that's quite a difference, that is. I've no idea if this is going to show on the screen. I'm pretty certain it won't, but yeah, that's actually very impressive. That's really very impressive, especially as the first test is over a bright city here. That looks really good. Yeah, that's really nice. Let's go back in the cockpit, and I'm now looking for bloom. That's what I want to see now. And to be fair, this is not going to really be the best test to start with, because I want to see, well, ideally we want to have a bright light with lots of sort of dark. Actually, no, this is perfect here. Okay, that wing is completely pitch black, but here is nice and bright. I don't see any blooming. Hang on, let me just really concentrate here. Is that a bit of blooming there? Maybe a little bit. We'll have a look at that a bit more later on. But yeah, this does look absolutely fantastic. And yeah, very comparable actually to the Vario XR4 in terms of local dimming, which I've always said is the best I've seen to date. Right, anyway, that will do for this. I want to go somewhere a lot more remote and really test out those black levels. So let's do that now. God, the field of view in this thing, it kind of hits you, you know. When you change VR headsets, especially when I'm used to something like the Dream Air, the brightness, God, the brightness and the field of view of this is just a massive difference. It really is. Right, anyway, let's just put local dimming on. So again, that's interesting actually, because looking at the sky, yeah, there definitely is a little bit, you do lose a tad of brightness, but you get a bit more depth in colour, especially in the cockpit. So that's pretty nice actually. Like I say, it is there. You definitely lose a bit of brightness, but it's not massive. And actually I would still say this is probably on par with, say, a Vario XR4 in terms of brightness. With local dimming, maybe even a... yeah, no, about the same, I'd say. Anyway, let's now try local dimming. Wow, we're actually getting some pretty impressive frame rate here as well. We're getting 75, 72 frames per second. Not bad at all. Right. Let's now turn the lights off completely. I think actually I've got local dimming on. Yes, I've definitely got local dimming on. Oh, okay. Yeah, now this is where it's really, really shining bright. Or maybe not so. That's like the worst thing I could have said as a metaphor. That's hilarious. I'm going to leave that in the video. This is where it's absolutely showing its stuff, but not shining bright. The opposite of that. This is really, really, really very, very dark out there. That is pitch black. Okay, fair enough. That is pitch black. amazing. That is amazing, actually. Yeah, no, I'm quite amazed by that. Wow. No, well, yeah, fair enough, Artua. I will admit this is definitely the best local dimming I've seen. So far, in terms of blooming, don't actually see any blooming. Is that blooming? No, I think that's just an effect on the actual aircraft itself. There must be blooming in this. How on earth are they not? I don't understand. How are they cracked that? Because that's, I mean, that's almost impossible, surely. But like, this is the perfect scenario because only a few light sources and everything around it is black, completely pitch black. So you would definitely see blooming. It's funny, really. Even though I definitely can't see it, I still don't believe it. I'm not even trusting myself now with this, but that is exceptionally black. Right, let's just take local dimming off. Oh, what a difference. That looks horrible. That looks really horrible now. Like, really, really nasty. It's all like grey and don't like it. Put it back on. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, in fairness, in terms of black levels, this is probably as close to micro OLED as you'll get. I mean, it is completely black, if I'm honest. So, I mean, if I compared it back to back, if I went into the Dream Air now, it probably would just be that little bit more of a wow factor. But I think the reason why that is because it's not just about the local dimming making this completely dark, but it's the micro OLED technology that I adore anyway. It's, you know, the Dream Air, for example, has a better fill factor, and just general colours are just way better in that headset. Micro OLED, I still feel, is better than this. So sorry, Artura, I don't quite agree with you that this is better than micro OLED, but I kind of understand your point that this could be better than micro OLED for some people out there that want absolute, like, brilliant brightness in a VR headset, fantastic field of view, but also have the ability to turn off the lights, enjoy your space sims, and have really good blacks. I mean, it feels very, very dark to me. Very impressive. And I really can't see any blooming either. Let's try one more scene and then we'll call this video done. But yeah, so far so good. Oh god, that menu feels a bit bright after that. In fact, this video probably won't be that fun to watch because obviously sort of, you know, nighttime flights on YouTube is not ideal. So I would recommend watching this with your lights down. But I'll just do one more quick flight. Let's fly over London, but I kind of want to use a different aircraft. Was it worth the wait? I think people who have a Somnium VR1 or are looking for a headset that can do it all, really. Immense mixed reality, the brightest display, one of the best field of views out there, and now deep, rich blacks to go with it. This is a killer feature for this headset. Congratulations, guys, if you're watching this, Somnium Space. I know you guys work hard, the VR engineers. I've had the pleasure of having a tour around the offices there, and I know how passionate they are. They do work hard, and it shows. Right, anyway, this aircraft is being streamed because some of the cockpit gauges are taking a while to load in. Okay, they've now loaded in, so this is the beautiful scene right here. It's sort of like dusk. I'm going to take local dimming off. Yeah, not a massive difference, but as I say, just a little bit brighter. I mean, the thing is, if you don't like having local dimming on during the daylight, well, just have a little button here that will switch it on and off. And then that's it, you've got the best of both worlds. But having it, I think I'd probably just have it on all the time because it just gives the colours a little bit more depth. You know, definitely, in fact. Wow. This is stunning. This is really, really stunning, this. Right, anyway. Last test. If the toolbar will come up. Damn you, toolbar. still a bit of an issue, isn't it? And that pause, I hate that stutter when you go to the menu. The menu system, oh, I don't care about the menu system anymore. Don't care. This is amazing. Look at this. Let me just put some instrument light on here. Oh, yes. What a way to finish. This looks spectacular. It's just, well, I'm going to say it. It's a night and day difference. Ah, drum roll. I should be a comedian. But it is a night and day difference. We're in night time now, and that is absolutely stunning. And this, again, is a good example where you would get bloom because there's sort of bright lights against dark colours. And, do you know, maybe there's a bit of blooming around the edges, actually, on the very peripheral of my vision. I probably can see it there, but it's very slight. Really, really slight. And to think this is in beta still, absolutely unbelievable. I haven't tried some of the other settings. Right, so one more thing before we go. I will have to go into the menu for this though. We can try, let's have a look here, Somnium tool. I'm now going to change the local dimming, if I can find it in the software here. There's so many settings to this. I'm trying to do this without crashing. Right, so I'm now going to change it from dynamic to linear. Oh, wow. Okay. See, that's a lot more, that feels more dramatic. But I guess linear, meaning it's probably in just one state and it's not so sort of variable depending on the scene. It's very cool we have these different modes, I must say. And let's try natural. Okay, let's just try that. Wow, okay. One thing I want to try, now that we're doing this, is go back to daytime again. Because that might affect some of the brightness. Or when I say affect, meaning it won't dim down so much. Oh, that's so bright. So, I'm going to take local dimming off. No, you still get that slight dimming of the entire screen. I think probably in all modes. Because this is just the first impressions. This is not some sort of a very detailed, you know, technical test. As you probably gathered, it's more of a sort of rough and ready sort of test, and I'm just sharing it with you guys. And again, thank you to Arturo and the team for sending this across. Wow, yeah, there's actually a bigger difference there. Well, a massive difference actually between the local dimming on and off in medium mode. I think I definitely prefer dynamic, and we have a black level slider here as well. If I take that all the way down to 0, then I reckon blacks are going to be like insanely black, like really like OLED black, because they already feel like that anyway, but I got a feeling that's just going to make things even more dramatic at the cost of some brightness. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it now, folks. I think this local dimming I've seen here, especially with the different options you have, is the closest I've ever seen to OLED from a QLED display. And that is a monumental achievement, guys. It really is. And I'm reluctant to say it, but in fact, actually, I can see some blooming now with the blacks at 0%. Yeah, I can see quite a bit of blooming. So I think I'm pushing things a bit too far here with the local dimming. But it's great that you have all those options. And at 25% or around there, I do feel that is the sweet spot. That is absolutely plenty dark enough. It still feels really, really dark, real black. And you won't get that blooming. Amazing. There's a reason why this headset costs what it does. And I think, once again, Somnium has shown that they haven't given in to the hype or felt rushed. They do things at their own pace. And because of it, the end result is far better than a lot of other headset manufacturers out there. Fantastic. Thanks for watching. And if you've got a Somnium VR1 or if you're thinking about getting one, I do have a link in the description below. And yeah, you're definitely going to love this update, guys. You really are. Take care. I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.